Hello again, and welcome back to our second episode, which will be going out at the same time as our first, apparently.
Yes.
The more you learn. I'm Olivia,
I'm Jamie.
and welcome back to OJ Podcast.
Yes.
Oh, this is so cute.
OJ
isn't it?
Podcast. Yes. This episode
Very uncreative, but so cute.
This episode's gonna be about the Emilia Romagna GP Grand Prix or Imola.
There you go. I'm like, have I been pronouncing Imola wrong the whole time? I've seen it the other way.
Emilia Romagna.
Yeah, it's too many words.
That's
But
just
I've-
like the
everyone
region it's in.
I know, and like I know that's also what it's called, but my brain went, "It's Imola." What?
I had to go fancy, obviously. Obviously, this was last weekend's Grand Prix. A lot of stuff actually. It was for a race that they all
Surprisingly great.
Yeah, for a race that everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be so boring. You can't overtake. So many things happened last week.
Anyway, we woke up our very sleep deprived. I didn't think she was
yeah.
that sleep deprived. I still don't think she was. But she likes her beauty sleep, and we did not give it to her because Jamie and I were just having so much fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were too loud, though, did you? Sorry for that. The camera malfunction. We're just repeating what we just said.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think we were that loud, but I guess she does. So
Our other roommate slept through perfectly fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's just being a little dramatic.
Cut that out.
I think we should first get into there was so many crashes.
There wasn't there?
This is her favorite part of racing. She will watch crashing videos all the time.
No. Yes, but no. I would say crashing got me into racing. I know last episode I said it was Max, and I would say Max is like the initial starting point with the music, but what actually got me interested in it was the dramatic crashes. This is Jamie hates this about me.
I do.
Jamie was complaining about Lance Stroll, and I went, well, now I need to know everything about this man. And he was so funny, and he crashed so much to now where I'm like kind of a Lance Stroll fan because of it, because he and Max are technically the reason I'm into F1.
I know, and it's the worst thing ever. The
Origin story.
Worst thing ever. Lance Stroll.
He's so funny.
It's because he's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And that it's daddy's money that got him in.
It's so funny.
Like, I can't.
Anyway, back to crashing, am I right?
Yeah. So, well, I guess the free practice one, Gabe Bortoletto crash was the first one. It wasn't that bad. It was just like...
He just kind of, like, clipped a bit, right?
Yeah, he just kind of hit it. Same with Isaac in free practice too. Both of them just kind of
that was so...
tappy-tap.
I feel like Isaac's could have been a lot worse, but he was able to decelerate quick enough. And it was really sad when he got stuck. Because if he was able to get on the track when he had his momentum going.
Yeah.
Free practice.
I think if there
was... it 2? It was free practice 2.
Yeah, but there was only 2 minutes left anyway. Like 5-ish minutes. So it really didn't matter in the end. And it's practice. So he kind of got it out of his system before... everything.
I just imagine like putting myself in that situation though, where I would be so stressed and like, because you and I both swim obviously, and I know I would consider this very like equivalent to a warm up.
Yeah.
And so when I'm warming up, if I'm like, for your swimmers out there, I'm a flyer. If I'm warming up butterfly and my fly arms aren't working and I can't get my kick right, it messes up my entire race, and it's a whole weekend to sit on it. So, I mean, a lot of respect for these people for being able to get their head back in the game. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 sec, I gotta clean my glass.
It's okay, she can cut this.
But yeah, those two were kind of baby crashes compared to the next two. Especially Yuki.
Franco's wasn't like terrible.
But he still got some pretty damage.
I mean, there was some damage, but like Yuki's was like...
Yuki's was scary. That moment was so scary.
Well, he flipped. He flipped over the barrier.
Yeah.
That would have been a death before Halo.
And luckily, he flipped back over and got out just fine. But, like, oh my god. Obviously, you're watching the qualification, and it's, like, not showing it. And then they show you Yuki's car, and then suddenly they show you the replay, and you're like, huh?
All the drivers checking in on him, though, was so sweet.
So sweet. Obviously Max would because it's like his teammate. I honestly, even though I hate Liam, his reaction was pretty funny.
Well, like, I mean, like they're all
They're
Red
also
Bull.
like they used to be team, or well, they didn't used. No, they did used to be
Kinda
teammates. Like last year, every time that Liam
and I guess the year
replaced-
before too.
yeah, anytime Liam replaced someone, Yuki was the other teammate.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and then Oscar is just Oscar. So obviously.
for those of you listening, I gave the biggest eye roll to her because we all know how she is.
Yeah, but yeah, those, and it was the fact that some of them crashed in the same places where people died.
I think both of Franco's and Yuki's were.
I
Correct?
think it was. I think it
'Cause
was.
it was.
I don't remember.
It was Senna's one of them, correct?
Yes,
and I
Senna,
forget
and
the
then-
other
I
one.
don't
He was
remember the
earlier
other-
that
He
day
was
or the day before.
He was the day
Yeah.
before in qualification, and then Senna's was the actual race. So
Very haunting.
very haunting. Like that whole like weekend was haunting because people were constantly crashing also. Like that weekend of Senna's death.
Okay. Oh well, I was about to comment on this weekend about it being so fun, but after the Senna comment, Senna's death was not fun.
This weekend was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was very
yeah.
interesting.
I had a great time. That first, okay. I mean, I guess I shouldn't. We should go over qualifying before I talk about the actual race, shouldn't we?
I guess we can go over
She knows how to speak.
Yeah, I do. Qualification. There was some interesting moments there.
I mean, Ferrari being out in Q2.
was insane. Like all of the
They were
Italians,
so sad.
all of the
in
Italians
Q2.
being gone in Q2.
It's okay. They had 3/16 Piastri up in the home.
They had somewhat an Italian on.
He doesn't count, and you know it.
No, he doesn't.
No matter what he lies to himself, he does not count.
He did meet his ancestors last weekend, though. Like, he met some of the descendants. They were 3 old guys.
It does not count.
They showed him his, like, great-great-great-great-grandpa's home.
It does not count. And you know, that would be like me claiming like France as France still has it.
No.
They don't. They
used
lost
to.
it.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much 21. So
Remember when I argued that France should always have one because
it's
the
a big
FIA is
literally
literally French?
I don't know why France. It would be like me. Okay, imagine we still had France because I'm related to French. So it would be like me saying like if there was still a GP in France, that I would like France was my home race because yes, like all my like a big chunk or like if there was one in Ireland. Because a big chunk of my family history came from or Poland. Again, a big chunk of my family history comes from those places.
Mhm.
However, my family's been in America or Canada for over a century, probably.
I'm gonna still argue I'm French. My last name actually is, unlike you.
It used to be. Sorry, my father ruined it for
Yeah.
the whole family legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not sharing my last name just yet on socials. But
yeah.
I mean, my last name's Irish, but like I'm technically more French if you were to look at statistics or whatever when you like
Mhm.
break it down. But my father makes us all look Irish.
I'm statistically German, but there is no German Grand Prix, so I guess I could argue.
Why doesn't Germany have one? I feel like that's another populated place.
I think just because like Austria and the Netherlands kind of take it.
Well, the Netherlands is probably because Max is there,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause they added it back.
Netherlands, Austria. I think the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think Belgium still has one.
Which I think Lando should argue that's his home Grand Prix since he is Belgian. He needs to follow the Oscar rule book of Grand Prix.
Well, like for me, because like obviously we're both American, and I was talking to you about this. Like I'm not from any of like anywhere near any of the American Grand Prix.
No.
Like the closest one is technically Miami, and that's over a day's worth of travel. And like not LA, Las Vegas. It's not LV. I thought of the loss and got confused. Vegas is like far, and Texas is far, and culturally the closest would probably be Miami.
Yeah.
And Miami's nothing like my home. So like technically, like if I were to be like a racer, Montreal, Canada would be the closest Grand Prix to me, but that technically wouldn't be my home race, even though it's closer by like it's like 6 hours versus like over 24.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Home Grand Prix are weird. This is kind of a weird side tangent we got into, but
Because like I would argue Texas would be my home one.
I guess
in
I'd
my
have to
opinion.
claim Miami, but that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Because Texas, I think, is the most culturally like the Midwest. So, like, we could go back. They used to drive in Detroit.
I
They
feel like
used to drive in
Detroit or-
Indianapolis. Chicago's an option for upcoming
Well, I
ones.
feel
But
like
I don't
if you
think
want to
they're-
go into like racing history, like I know Vegas and Miami are both big party cities, and then the Texas one is like more
just historic.
yeah.
That one's
And
just actually
I'm
historic.
I study history as a historian. I would like to keep like I do think there needs to be a mix, but I do like the
Yeah.
historic tracks, like Monaco, like can never leave in my brain or
Yeah.
anything.
Oh no.
And like I'm in favor of keeping like the Italian races and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But like I think if you want to as a historian as well, like even though I think Miami and Vegas have like good vibes, I think if you want to go into like historic racing, like it's Detroit or it's Indianapolis.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Midwest has such a strong historic
yeah, I feel like
racing
having
culture
a
because
track
like
here would be better.
even in Wisconsin, we have Road America where IndyCar does drive here, and IndyCar has a race in Milwaukee too. They have 2 Wisconsin races.
Yeah, I mean it's huge culturally here, especially compared to where I am.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's a missed opportunity because I
think
think this
so.
is where the majority. I mean, granted, if you want like celebrities and stuff coming, it would be Vegas. I mean,
Vegas or
LA
Miami,
even.
yeah.
But
I think we should get rid of Miami and bring it up here. That would be the one I want to
get rid of
lose.
Vegas.
They think the Vegas track I think the Vegas track is better of a track itself than Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just. I mean, it's hard. I guess I like the Miami atmosphere better than I like the Vegas one, and I also Vegas is in a desert, and I like rain races. So like rain races are the most fun, as we talked about earlier. I like crashing, so like I think the higher chance of rain, the more fun the race could be. That's why I like Brazil so much.
Yep.
It's my favorite track.
Rains.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to qualification as we
Forgot
went
about that.
off on something. Yeah, the Ferrari mix-ups. My biggest thing is I am an Ollie Behrman fan, and I got pissed off about that.
Okay, but if you look at it from like his perspective, he should have been in.
He should have been fine, and like even he was saying like it didn't come up on his
Oh,
dashboard.
we forgot to talk about this for the free practices though. Franco being such a menace to the other drivers was so funny and great, and I know it's technically rude and not polite and like.
Yeah.
But it was so great, and I respected it.
She just loves the menaces.
Yes.
And that's why she likes Max and George.
No.
But anyways, I think Ollie should have easily been in Q2.
Oh.
But Sauber did the smart thing and forced Gabe onto
well,
the
I honestly
pit
didn't
lane.
think the FIA would have overturned
I don't
it
think they
anyway.
would've.
I think once they make a call, that the organization has a lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
So
like it was never gonna go Ollie's way, and I feel bad for him because it did. He initially got put up there, and then it got taken away from him, and that's very sad.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Franco who crashed. Yeah,
it was Franco's.
So
crash
because
that
Franco
caused
crashed,
it.
Ollie gets screwed over.
Yep.
And I just don't think. I mean, like I get it. Like those are the rules, but I do think Ollie made it in time because it was a later red flag.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, was there anything else really big in quali?
No.
I mean, both Williams made it to Q1.
Well, the Aston
Martins. I forgot about that. They actually got genuinely screwed. This is
In
later
the
in the
race.
race that like the safety car. Granted, like their strategy was questionable, but I actually think this is a good sign for their future racing because it sounds like the upgrades they made actually did help.
Yeah, and like the medium tires was the right way to go.
That
the softs had no
thing
grips.
Is it kind of backfired on them at the race though?
It did,
But I think
it
if
did.
the safety cars didn't happen, it wouldn't have
Yeah.
been such a big deal.
But
Because like George did it on the Mercedes and it got him ahead of Lando.
Yeah, and it worked. The mediums worked well because those softs were just too soft.
Well, specifically for that track, because it was pretty warm while quali
I would
was going
agree.
on.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it was making sense and getting you a faster pace, but yeah, I mean, I felt kind of a little evil side of me really liked the okay. I love Kimmy and I love Charles and I quite enjoy Lewis as well. Not love Lewis, but I quite like Lewis. I think he's very funny. But the sad Italians.
It was so funny seeing them walking away, not even watching Q3. Oh my god.
It brought me a tiny bit of joy. I'm dying.
You have water.
I know, that's why I'm dying. I'm sorry.
We actually, if you are watching the video of the last one, we didn't have our water bottles. We now have our water bottles.
My
'cause
voice
we're
hurts.
smart.
Are we smart or did we just develop one extra brain cell?
I think one extra brain cell, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually I think Annika stole mine last time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
We share.
We share a lot.
Like us three probably have like 2 brain cells between us all,
Yeah.
and
most of the time I think Olivia has
I think
it.
I hold them.
Yeah.
But
not me
sometimes
and
they get
Annika.
snatched away from my head and I'm suddenly like, la la la.
Okay.
Like agreeing to do a podcast, for example, impulsively. Now I'm here.
This is the greatest thing ever.
I'm having a good
Greatest
time.
thing ever.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the race itself, because that's where a lot of things go on. You got the car troubles, you got the strategy. It's like a lot of things were happening.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be the most well-versed expert in the world, but just as a watcher, I had a great time. Like, especially the beginning overtake on, I'm sure this has been talked about to death.
Even the drivers say that beginning overtake was like overtake of the year.
Well, because like, where did he come from?
Where did he come from?
Because like, I honestly, I think what happened was like, obviously George had a great start on Oscar, and Oscar was a bit late, but Max was later.
I saw Christian talking about this and how he was talking about Oscar was so worried about George and positioned his car in a way so George couldn't get past.
That he forgot to block
that he forgot
the
to block
4-time
Max.
world champion, Max Verstappen.
That was that's like one of Oscar's rare screw-ups.
Oh, yeah. And then he just had a sad little race, didn't he?
Oscar had... Because, well, that's getting into the really weird McLaren strategies here.
Later. We gotta talk about that overtake some more, because it was gorgeous.
How else do you take more about it?
It was just so pretty. I feel like it needs an extra bit of time.
I don't know if there's much else.
Again, I agree with what Horner was saying and what you just said. I think he was so focused on blocking off George, because George did have such a great start to where Max was able to just go and send
I
it
think
over the turn.
Oscar braked a little too early compared to Max.
Well, it screwed over George's race. I mean, George knew it. George was like, what is Piastri doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, what is Piastri doing? He should have sent it more. But I mean, obviously something was wrong with the Mercedes this weekend.
100%.
Which
the
Mercedes
Mercedes was all over the place this weekend.
Yeah,
like,
we'll get
George was constantly talking about it.
Well, like, even before the race started.
Yeah. But
anyway,
the McLaren strategy was wild from the start to the end.
I wonder why she wants to talk about this as a McLaren fan.
Hey, I got Ferrari and Williams written in the notes.
You do. I feel like we could talk about like all the team strategy.
Oh, we could have probably
honestly.
also, if I remember.
Other than Sauber.
Sauber's just, they don't have the car. And I
mean, Haas had a pretty rough weekend too.
Yeah.
So strategy-wise.
I think Sauber just doesn't have the car right now. They're really focused
Will they ever have the car?
But they're focused on the Audi like change next year, and I think that's why they don't have a good
I
car
think they'll
now.
be better next year, but I think they're putting too much faith in Audi making too much of a difference too
I
quickly.
agree. I agree.
I know they're great in other motorsport, and I do think they have potential to be really good in the future.
Yeah, I don't think the first season's gonna.
I mean, they have no experience,
but
really.
they do have the luck of coming in with this whole new revamp of the cars, where it's like completely different than anything done before.
I'm nervous about that.
I am too. After I got started reading up on how the changes work, because I'm actually interested in the cars.
I like crashing. I like destroying the car.
But yeah, Sauber's just never gonna be there. Haas has their moments.
The thing is, I feel like Haas hasn't been that bad this season, but clearly something is wrong.
Something's been going on.
I forget the new principal's name, but I actually really like him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be good for the team. However, like, clearly something's wrong, because Esteban's car... I mean, did he get in a...
No, he didn't get in a crash. It just stopped working.
I think he pitted lap 1. Did he have like initial damage?
I thought it was Ollie that pitted.
Was it Ollie that... I know a Haas car pitted.
Yes, they did.
Lap 1.
I don't think he ever had damage. I think the car was literally just not working. Something with the power unit or something else just wasn't working.
So
and
they need to figure
eventually
that out.
He had to pull over.
Yeah, well, I guess we should do before we get into McLaren then, go over some of the lesser
Well, that's why I'm going up on the teams right now.
Okay.
And like Esteban had to pull over. That brought out the virtual safety car, which is a whole nother situation.
We'll get into that.
Whole nother situation.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I think
Alpine did fine.
Alpine was their average kind of.
I feel like they have one really
midfield.
epic moment, like a season,
Oh yeah,
and then like they're here to cause chaos and get on Drive to Survive.
they literally are.
Honestly,
there's always an Alpine episode. There's always like
their
multiple
episodes are the best episodes. Though is the thing. I like the drama.
I also like the drama, but like,
like when I'm watching the race, I'm watching it for racing. But when I'm watching Drive to Survive, I'm watching for the drama.
Yeah, I like the over exaggeration. Like I don't take Drive to Survive with a grain of
Oh
salt.
God, no! Because it's television. They're trying to create a narrative.
To move things around. Like especially some of the things they've been trying with like Max and Lando, and there's just so much that it's.
Meanwhile,
just, like, no.
Lando's out there being like, "Yeah, Max is one of my best friends." Please,
they try so hard.
Please.
But yeah.
They're gonna make Oscar Lando like a huge episode for them next year.
100%. Even though there's nothing going, I am on team. Nothing is going on.
Well, I think Lando's just sad that he's not performing to his expectations. That's not Oscar's fault.
No, I think,
and I think he knows that. Lando does have brain cells, regardless of what the public thinks.
I think Lando's just beating himself up, and that's something that goes
I think
along
he's very
with mental health.
Yeah, so that's probably why.
It's just, I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't think he hates Oscar for it, because he knows it's all internally, but he can't help it.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, what's next? Racing Bulls? I mean...
Racing Bulls. Oh, we got Isaac.
Isaac's been so good
pulling through with everything, because even as people have been saying, he was second to Max this weekend, and he has been second to Max in a lot of the races.
I think we talked about this in the last one, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but I think he needs to not move up at least until next year. Give him a year in this car.
Keep Yuki in this year and then boot him next year, because it's going to happen. Unless Yuki pulls through, unless there is changes and Yuki does pull through.
I really like Yuki is the problem. I would love for him to keep a place on the grid.
He did good.
But he's never gotten a podium, and he's been here since like 21, right?
Yeah, I have the stats all.
I think it's 21. Dead air.
Oh no, it's not dead air. We're gonna keep talking.
Yep.
F1. Nope, not that one.
F1
I
know
info.
what she looked at.
So we got Yuki.
Part in.
He's been entered into 92 Grand Prix and has not won a single thing.
And that is.
He's not the worst. We have Nico Hülkenberg on.
I don't think Nico's a bad driver, though. I think he's been stuck on.
He's just been stuck on bad teams.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised even the bad teams haven't tried to just switch things up.
I don't know.
I'm not a manager, so I don't really fully get into that. Stuff.
They played the race well for Isaac.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with Liam this year, because he
was good.
He was pretty solid
in the Racing Bulls.
I wonder if it's just like the pressure got to him.
Well, a lot of people.
I feel like a lot of his, is he putting too much on himself now that he's made it? Is he putting too little?
I think a lot of people have been pointing out that his time in Red Bull car fucked up his mentality, because he was in the better car and then doing so bad in the better car and not being able to handle it. So now he's in the easier per se car and he's just mentally not there.
Yeah, something's wrong. I think he honestly though could get the Albon Gasly treatment where he might. I think he'll probably be booted after this season, but I do think if he were to come back on a more. Again, we talked about this last episode. I think Red Bull is the most toxic team. So I think if you were to put him on a less toxic team, like Williams, for example.
Oh, but they're not going to lose their drivers anytime soon.
They have two phenomenal drivers. But I'm just saying, a team like Williams.
Yeah.
Not Alpine. But they could take him. Who knows?
Haas, maybe.
I like the Haas lineup right now.
Eventually, once Lewis retires, that's Ollie's spot in the Ferrari.
It's true. But still,
when that happens,
I always
if
forget
that
Haas
happens,
is technically feeder.
Yeah, but it's truly Ollie's spot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Lewis wants that 8th though. He might leave Ferrari, But does he even have a place to go to? I don't think like
Not really.
Mercedes.
I don't
at this
think the
point, I
lineups
don't
are
think-
even though there's a lot of people unsigned right now. I don't think a lot of the lineups are going to
Well,
change
'cause,
next
like,
year.
if you're thinking about, I know there's a lot of rumors right now about Max to Mercedes. I don't think that's going to happen. I think
don't
Max
either.
sticks with Red Bull, or he just retires and goes to a different motorsport.
Oh, 100%.
I don't like Red Bull is built around
Max.
right now, and I don't know why you would like. Maybe he'd lose Christian Horner, but I don't know why you would want to leave that team. That like, I mean, I guess I'm too loyal for F1 because I would be the type of person to want to stick with my team to the bitter end and like win a championship with my team.
Yeah.
But like I don't see how you could leave. And like Lewis, like I don't think there's any options in any better cars because I like
No.
even if you argue the Williams is the better car, they're not going to part with.
No.
I mean Carlos, and I doubt they'd part with Alex at this point either because they built such good relationships.
Alex has
with
been
them.
doing a great.
He's been doing better than Carlos.
He's been doing a phenomenal, which we love that for Alex.
I really love Alex, so I'm quite happy with it.
But I guess Williams is the next car.
No, it's not. It's Aston Martin.
Oh, it's Aston Martin. I forgot about them. Sorry, guys. I don't like Aston Martin.
Neither of us are Aston Martin fans. I mean, they got really unlucky this race, and
it was a lot of the safety cars.
I mean, it's not even their strategy. I mean, what's up with Fernando's brakes? But like
Fernando's brakes just catching. Their brakes cannot not be
clearly
on fire.
Something else is wrong with the car. Just to get into them a bit, I think their upgrades will work, and I think with more track examples, with less that poorly timed safety cars for them, they'll probably start being more competitive. Fernando's getting points at some point this season for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even though he's old and should retire, he's still a great driver. Oh, she lost her mic. He's still a great driver, so I don't really.
And he's stuck there until after next year. That's when his contract ends. So no matter what, we're still stuck with him for a season.
So
he's only there because his dad owns it. Not the solely, but
I mean, he is one of the safest.
They're building a 80-meter yacht.
Not an 80-meter yacht.
That's like $200 million.
Anyway, boring Aston Martin.
Williams, on the other hand, we love our Williams.
I guess we talked about Haas technically. Yeah, they just were
already
unlucky.
I went through.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the order.
That's not how I went through it. I went through it the order of the weekend.
Whatever. Okay, Williams. We both really like Williams. We think they're on a good trajectory.
They're doing amazing. Carlos has had a lot of unlucky moments,
mostly with Yuki.
Yeah. I really like that in the video game that he did get put above Lewis in the rankings. That was so funny.
I do think that rating. I do think Lewis should have been rated higher, though. I'm not going to... He is a 7-time world champion.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could ever... I mean, obviously, he's not going to win world this year with Ferrari.
I don't think he's going to win world ever again. That's the thing.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, but I see... it's Lewis Hamilton.
I know, but it's...
of cars to fame. Like, how could you not?
There's too many others.
I mean, yeah. I mean...
Max, Oscar, Lando. There's too many.
Honestly, if you put Charles in a better car, and even George, there's some great drivers on the grid right now.
There's too many people that Lewis doesn't have the chance anymore. It's just I'm fine with him staying. He can become like Vettel or any of the others where they kind of just stick it through in bad cars, but
Vettel's name is pronounced that way. But it stresses me out. I just call it Vettel.
Oh.
I can't pronounce my double T's
Vettel
very well. Vettel. It's so is he German?
I don't know.
It
I
sounds,
don't remember.
It sounds like that area.
Yeah.
I should know that. I won't Google it. You could cut out me being inept.
No. But yeah, Williams has been on a great winning streak. They did amazing with their tire strategy, even the safety cars and virtual and actual safety car went well for them.
He is German. I was right. Okay. Sorry, I had to do a quick Google search.
But that's been great. Ferrari was, I think, the most impressive this weekend.
I don't want to say Ferrari had good strategy, but Ferrari had a good strategy. I do think they got partially screwed over by the second safety car.
Yes,
and honestly, the first two for Charles in particular. For Lewis, no.
But I think it was mainly the second one did fuck them up a little bit. Part of my French. But I think Lewis especially was able to pull through it. Charles had a lot of moments with Alex, and the car switching situation was also not the greatest.
I think it was the correct move on Ferrari's part.
Yeah.
Though. Let me just get into like my initial thoughts. I think the initial strategy to undercut for Charles was brilliant because clearly it was working. And
and then the car.
I guess you can pass in Imola because they sure did. Because Oscar also pitted pretty early.
I think
and it
Oscar
was
the most impressive with the undercutting.
Well, he has a better
Charles.
He has a better car.
I think Oscar's also just amazing at passing people.
She's very biased.
No, I'm not. He is one.
No, I mean, I know.
The month twice.
I know he's really good, and I'm not trying to discredit Oscar because I actually do think he's phenomenal at overtaking or whatever. But I do think,
Ferrari had the correct.
They were further behind, and to catch up as many places as they did, that's why I think that strategy is better than because McLaren this weekend was a bit of a mess. But we'll get into McLaren later topic. But yeah, I mean, hitting Charles early was clearly the right move, and I mean, you saw teams realize that pretty quickly on
as they all follow suit,
except for the front.
The front few,
Max.
Obviously Lando, it was smart of keeping Lando out to be there for Max.
I mean, Mercedes, less but they're having issues with the car because
they were having so many issues.
And then
we can get into Mercedes
in a little bit. Let's finish Ferrari first.
They just did amazing, and that's pretty much it.
The call at the end, I think, was the correct one because one, you let. It sucks for Charles, but you let Lewis through.
Yeah.
And also, it becomes a 5 to 10 second penalty taking you out of points if you don't make the call, if it gets overturned.
Yeah.
So to keep yourself at least in points, it makes more sense. I think
it was smart that they switched around him and Alex because
it keeps Lewis through.
Yeah. If Charles got the penalty, he would have been further down than what he was.
Exactly. So I think it was the right call. It sucks, and I actually do think it was clean, and I think the FIA needs to be more clear on rules.
Yeah.
But, also, with the FIA not being clear on rules, it's the right move.
Which is a well-known thing.
Yeah. And happy for Lewis, best finish in a Ferrari that's non-sprint, because apparently Lewis can only ever do sprint races now.
Yeah. But his fourth place was very impressive. Yeah. He did good.
Yeah, both Ferraris did really good for where they were starting off. And I actually think the Ferrari car isn't as bad as everyone's saying. I obviously it's worse than the Red Bull, and it's worse.
I think it's worse than the top
McLaren.
three.
But I think over for sprint and for qualifying, terrible. It has no pace.
Yeah.
But for the actual races, it's doing fine.
Which is sadly going to be the problem this weekend at Monaco. And Charles has said this, where they don't have it in qualifications. They have it in the long run in the race, but just quality isn't it.
They're making them pit twice now, though. So there is some more. So there is going to be some changes but
a lot of them are saying they're just going to pit after the first lap. Everyone is. And then that just takes away that strategy.
I don't know if that's the move, honestly, though.
I don't know.
Because I think you could do a bit of an overcut, potentially, if you wait a bit longer. I don't know. Because if you are the only person left racing, and just...
Yeah, you can get some time.
You'll have clean air,
Yeah.
You can get a lead, and then if you're already in front,
Yeah.
We'll
see.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if McLaren, if one of them gets pulled, they try that strategy.
Yeah.
Or Max. But Max is Max.
I don't think Max is going to have it in Monaco for quali because there's not enough straights. It's all turns.
Honestly, I could see any of the the top 4 cars. I don't think Ferrari has it, but I could see
a Williams.
Honestly,
I
don't hate that.
Carlos in Q2 pulling out that fast.
I'm thinking we're seeing someone unexpected.
Oh, I
hope so for my own.
But also the problem is Oscar qualified second last year, so he's already known to be good.
Yeah, but they're all professional drivers.
Yes.
So just because he qualified second last year, I would not be surprised to see Oscar on pole. Clearly he's having a monster season.
Yeah, I would love for Charles to be up there.
The thing is I would argue Charles historically, even though he's had some moments in Monaco, is probably the best at the track.
But I just don't think the Ferrari has it for quali, and that's the
I
most
know.
important part of Monaco weekend is
I know.
quali.
I'm so excited to watch. You and I will be on.
But
I honestly could see a Williams. I wouldn't be shocked.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think a Williams could pull through, and I think that's my hot take.
I don't know if that's a hot take.
I want a Williams to pull through.
I don't know. I think there is opportunity for the strategy because I think if everyone pits on that first lap, like I don't think that's the smartest way to go
I
about
don't
it.
think so either.
So I think some
It
teams
makes it
might
boring
do that,
again.
but I think other teams will try different strategy, and I think that will make Monaco exciting.
Yeah. But
also there's always crashing in Monaco too. So
yeah,
I mean,
sadly not gonna rain.
Is it supposed to rain on Saturday or was
no? That's going away too.
No.
But anyways, let's get back to the Mercedes and their messed up
it's not
car.
Even, like
I don't even think
problems.
it's just a car problem.
I mean, I think both George and Kimi were talking about how it feels fine on like cooler tracks.
Yeah.
The second you get to a warmer track like Imola.
Yeah, and which it's so sad for Kimi. I feel so bad for him. Especially he's falling for the home race curse. Like the 2025 home race curse is really pulling through here, guys. Like Oscar spinning out in Australia, and then you have Yuki in Japan just not doing great, and now Kimi obviously,
I swear to God, if
DNFing.
something happens to Charles this weekend,
That's
I'm going
the
to scream.
problem.
I mean, I guess he's technically adopted Oscar though, so maybe he forced him.
Yeah, maybe Oscar. Both of them gone.
I don't feel like there's that much to say. I think Mercedes has an issue with their car, with overheating, with the engine, and clearly, like since, I mean, it was Japan. No, it wasn't Japan. It was the one after Japan. I'm blanking on the name.
Bahrain.
Bahrain, yeah, where like the car was, yeah. I opened TRS trying to click the radio. Like clearly,
something's going on with that car. Because I don't think there's ever been a race where George hasn't complained about something going wrong.
That is just George, though.
True, that is just George.
But if, like both
Kimmy's pretty quiet.
Well, he's a rookie. He's
a little baby.
He's scared. I guess we'll go into Red Bull now.
Yes, Red Bull now.
I mean, what's there to say?
There's a lot to do. Max it was his weekend.
He did great.
They did
up in his the percentage.
Yeah. They had excellent strategy for Max specifically. They kept him out longer, and I think that Yuki pulled through. He got to 10th. He didn't do his job though. That was probably the funniest moment of the race.
Keep him behind. Keep him behind. Okay.
Oscar immediately right after overtaking Yuki after he got told to keep Oscar behind.
You had one job and you didn't do it.
And which is funny because
he actually had a pretty good race, I feel like.
Yeah,
but that's what he's going to be remembered for.
He's gonna be remembered for that. Which is so funny because, like, yes, you needed to keep Oscar behind, but the biggest threat to them was Lando. But there was no chance for Yuki to keep him behind because Lando pitted at the same time as Max did. Like, they were constantly
that was
because
of the VSC.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't feel like there's too much to say about Red Bull. I think they made the right call to have Yuki try to block him off because Yuki failed. Yeah. So I mean, because once Oscar was past Yuki, he was that first turn, that DRS to the first turn was clean. Oscar's biggest You wanted to say something else, didn't you? No. Never mind. Continue. I thought you were going to say something else. I can't think of words. That's what was going on. Like, that was his biggest I have made moment. It policy not to swear on the podcast. But yeah, Yuki still had an amazing race. I don't want to discredit him at all. He started in pit. Like, his engineers and everyone, they didn't think his car would potentially be ready. They pulled through with the car. The car seemed great, obviously, because they had to remake it entirely that night. Yeah, feel bad for them. Yeah, they had a no sleep, sleep. I mean, Red Bull. I think they got lucky. They got to pit both car times, and I mean, Max was phenomenal this weekend, especially in Sector 1, and yeah. What is there to say? They did really well. But there is a lot to say about the McLarens. McLaren had a Ferrari weekend. Slow pit stops.
That slow pit stop.
Weirdly timed pit stops
Mhm.
too, right? Because I think they
so
pitted Lando.
They wanted to undercut Oscar because they saw that it was working so
Yeah.
well with Charles, but then the virtual safety car obviously just messed that all up. And then Lando got pitted right before the virtual
that's what I
safety
remember,
car,
but
which
that didn't
also
screw him
didn't.
up too much because he didn't go back in. He
No,
didn't need to.
it just didn't help him
Yeah.
the greatest amount.
He got really unlucky.
Yeah,
But I
once
mean,
again.
that's racing.
Um,
I mean, I don't really blame that on McLaren.
I don't know
It was
what-
another slow stop.
I don't know
but
what was with Oscar's first pit stop there. Like,
was
that
really
was
slow.
unusually slow.
I mean,
And that obviously made Oscar have to push so much harder.
yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, they did deliver him right into traffic, which I mean, yeah, it was working really well for Charles and like Oscar's great at overtakes. But I mean, and I guess he was struggling with his tires, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Well,
but
then the second safety car came out and they put Lando in new tires.
yeah,
Which,
well, they didn't have any new ones for Oscar.
I think they should have put him in mediums. Even older mediums. I think it would have worked better to try to get him that pace, but he would have been. I think the problem was is he was in third. If he would have pitted, he would have gone back to like 7th or 8th.
True.
So that meant in that little amount of time, he had to push all the way back up. So they were trying to just go for 2nd and 3rd.
Mhm.
Which,
Well, I think they should have. I know McLaren doesn't like to do this and let them race. I think they should have just let Lando in front of Oscar because I think
Yeah.
Lando was on the better
I
tires.
think the problem was is they didn't want to lose that 2nd and 3rd, and
Yeah.
if Oscar couldn't push immediately at that restart, then he would have been everyone would have passed
I
him.
mean, I'm not gonna pretend to like fully understand strategy. It's just how I was viewing it.
And it was kind of fun to watch the two of them race.
Oh
Anyways.
yeah, but like if they want, I don't think they would have passed Max regardless. But if they even
No.
wanted a chance to pass Max, I think that
Lando
was the
should have
correct
been in
move.
front, but they couldn't switch it around under the safety car. There was
I
just
also
so
do
much.
think Oscar could have gotten screwed over if Alex managed to take the pass over Charles cleanly.
Yeah.
Because the Williams was going faster at that point, and
Yep.
if you looked, I think they were catching him like within
Oscar
3 laps.
had
they
no
potentially would've
tires.
caught him.
Even Lando pointed that out while they were behind
so-
the safety car. Oscar had 0 tires.
I mean, it was the safety car that kind of caused a lot of their questionable strategy. Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's fully the team's fault, but like, I do think the beginning move with Oscar, he should have focused on Max over George because I think your car is more likely to be able to overtake the Mercedes than it is to overtake the Red Bull, especially Max driving the Red Bull. And I think it all went downhill from there for them.
Yeah, that was just a downhill spiral from start to end.
Yeah, I mean,
like Lando was fine. Lando was great.
He got more grip in the dirt the one time he went in there.
Yeah. Lando was fine. They put him in the correct strategy, even though he kind of argues somewhat about certain things. But I think it was fine. Like McLaren says, a 2-3 is better than like a 1 podium. You want a double podium.
More points.
Yeah. So that's what they went for.
Yeah. I mean, and clearly they're still top constructors. Both Lando and Oscar are still ahead of Max for Worlds.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're up there. They're fighting each other.
I do think for the end of the season, I do think it will be Lando and Oscar.
I think
Max will stick in there with them, but I just feel like the car disadvantage at its current point.
Yeah, they do say things. So Horner's been arguing that Spain has different rules for the cars or something, and so or that's when rules change or whatever, and Horner's like, oh yeah, that's gonna fuck over the McLarens. But also I take whatever Horner says with a grain of salt because that man is just trying everything he can to get the McLarens to be disqualified.
What can you do? I mean, we won't know until the end of the season, but I think Oscar and Lando have both proven they're very good drivers.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean, and their car is great, and I feel like even if you have to change certain things, like the fundamental basis of the car should still be pretty solid.
Because
so I'm not too worried about it. I do think, obviously, like, you can't count out Max, but I mean, if the car disparity stays the same, I just don't, like, he can do so much, but there's only so
Yeah,
much.
there's
Especially
certain
with George
tracks.
still in the mix.
Well,
like,
clearly the really hot tracks he can't do anything on.
Yeah.
Like the Middle
brake
Eastern,
system.
yeah, the Middle Eastern tracks, the Red Bull just can't handle them at all. And which that's something they could potentially fix or not.
I don't know engineering, so maybe.
Well, they can fix it. They can fix
Yeah.
it, but it's just depending on
take
do they
work.
have the engineers to
Here,
fix
air
it. The
tunnels are
knowledge.
really helpful.
Yeah. But like that's the thing. It's Red Bull versus McLaren's right now, and like especially Zach versus Christian. Those two are chaos, and I love them. I love that Zach is very American and just tries to piss off
His
Christian.
theme song is Olivia Rodrigo's "So American," and no one can tell me otherwise.
Like the tire water, the Simply Lovely last year, like it all just. It's so American to try to piss off the European, especially the British.
It's one of the rare times I become proud of my country these days.
And obviously Christian's trying to find everything he can against the McLarens because we obviously had the brake disparity before the race even started.
I feel like now that they know about the braking system, though, just copy it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Instead of, like, complaining, add it to your car. You have time to do upgrades. Like, will it take you, like, maybe an extra race or two? Sure, but just do it.
Yeah, especially when they did explain what it was exactly and everything and how it's legal.
Tire water, sweetie.
Yeah, it's tire water and how it's legal and everything. I did such extensive research on this. Like I know how those brakes are legal and stuff and like what would have been illegal because there was talks about like this material where like it melts at a different rate so then it absorbs all the heat and stuff. But that wasn't the case, so it doesn't matter. That would have been illegal, but that wasn't the case, so.
Door slam.
One of our roommates just left. But yeah. Another thing, let's go. Who is our driver of our personal? We know Max got driver of the day, which I am in the opinion that driver of the day shouldn't be go to who wins. Like, yes, Max had a great like run. I can see the argument for him, but I am such a big like who moved up, who did the most impressive moves. I don't think it was Max. Like, yeah, that one overtake in the beginning, but he didn't overall. My driver of the day is easily Lewis Hamilton. He went from P12 to P4 with some impressive moves. Like,
what place
he
did
put
Alex
in the work.
Qualify in? Do you remember?
I would have to look. I don't remember.
I don't think he wasn't in fifth, was he?
He might have been. I think no, Fernando was fifth.
Yeah, because
he was fourth.
No, he wasn't fourth. What place did Alex start in?
Let me look. I don't
Sorry, we're
remember.
doing a quick Google search because this will help me determine if I think Alex is driver of the week or not.
Results 2025. Emilia Romagna qualification. I think he went down spots if I remember correctly. Oh no, he was in 7th.
Okay, so he moved up. I mean, he had a really solid stint in like the top 3 for a while. Obviously the Williams wasn't going to be able to hold off the McLarens for very long at the moment, but I thought he was really impressive. Obviously Lewis had a great day, but I think his inability to overtake Kimi in the much slower car for a little while, even if it is a newer car.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a through goes Hamilton moment, so that was pretty epic, but I don't know if he's my personal driver of the day, just because I feel like if he had gotten past Kimi faster, he could have had an even better result potentially. I mean, probably not, but like, he would have saved himself a lot of time.
I just think the top 3 were a pretty solid group the entire time.
I mean, I guess so. I mean,
it's really hard to break that top 3 this year.
That is true. Well, top 4-ish.
Yeah. George will get in there with 3rd. Same with Max.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's Max 1st or Max 4th.
That is true. I don't think he's ever gone the 3rd. I think it has always been a 1st.
I guess I'm gonna give it to Alex because I think he had a really solid stint, and I mean, obviously he did mess up that one overtake, but and he ended up in 5th, and he was potentially looking at a podium.
Oh,
but
I think so close.
I think his drive was very good overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, Lewis is the other answer. I'm just doing this to
I
be
would s-
contrarian.
I would
But
say Yuki's also an option, going from pits to 10th.
yeah, I mean, I just don't think anything Yuki did was as impressive as anything.
Yeah, I
Lewis.
agree.
You know what? The answer is Lewis, and I'm doing it to be contrarian because I want to give it extra opinion, but I do think it's Lewis as driver of the day. But special shout out to Alex because I think he did very well. And I think he got less screwed over than a lot of other people did.
100%.
Car.
So many people. Those safety cars were wild.
Anything else to discuss? Oh, favorite radios.
I don't know any of the radios, so I can't even do that one.
Yeah.
I can't remember them. I think.
Oh, Fernando. I am the unluckiest driver.
True. I think also George's what the fuck is Oscar doing kind of moment.
So
those ones are really good
right now, but yeah, I guess I'll have to pay. I pay attention to the radios. My current favorite is these tires are audacious.
Well, I love the water. It must be the water.
Yeah, that one was really good too. That was this season too.
Some of the best. Or Oscar saying Lando was cheeky trying to cut a corner last minute to try to overtake Max in Suzuka. Some of those like really slangy European terms really get me.
It's been I liked Lewis last week, just being like, he was so sassy.
He was so sassy with the whole.
It was
my god,
great.
That Miami
I live
was
for
crazy.
the sass.
Yeah, because Ferrari does switch drivers, so it's like it's an insane moment because we've seen them switch so many times.
And I mean, that was a normal Ferrari strategy moment because they should have let Lewis go earlier, and then once Lewis was failing, they should have let Charles go earlier. Yeah. And it was questionable choices. And I don't blame them both for being very annoyed.
But that Miami was just a race, and
I mean,
I would say like this race was a lot more fun than Miami Grand Prix.
Miami Sprint has been my favorite race of the season so far. I expect that to change once we get to Brazil because Brazil always delivers.
Now that I've actually like fully watched through and sat down and watched Australia, I think Australia is my favorite just because there was so much chaos there, even though Oscar had his moment. But
you just love that he got back into it.
I know, he put in
She's biased.
Everyone loves that he actually pushed. He was listed as out, and he pushed himself to get back in.
No, like, and yes, that is impressive.
But like that whole race was just a mess. Okay. The first lap, Jack crashing, and then Carlos crashing under safety car.
Yeah, that's wild.
Isaac crashing before
was it raining in Australia? Okay, that makes
Isaac crashing before the race even started. Fernando somehow crashing even though it was like drying up. But that's for Fernando, and then Liam and Gabe immediately crashing on the same lap also. Like, it
wild.
There was so much going on.
I'm gonna have to rewatch.
It's good race. It's a good race. Because I got her into it after that race. Because
I watched the highlights. Because I started watching with Japan this year. So I didn't get to watch Australia live. I should have. You should have gotten me in earlier. Sorry. How dare you? Sorry. Anyway, obviously I've been learning up a lot and I'm trying to become more knowledgeable, but working on it. But yeah, I've watched the highlights, but I do not remember.
But we both kind of have knowledge on different things in the sport too, because like I love stats and stuff, so I'm gonna also I
think this looks cool.
I guess, like, since this is, like, the one before the next race, what are our predictions for Monaco?
I mean, we were talking about, like, potential dark horse.
I think
I would really like someone who hasn't been... Okay, I'd like Lando in first, or literally anyone other than Oscar. And Max.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Lando because I think he really needs a win.
Yeah.
I think Lando is struggling, and I like Lando enough to want him to succeed. But I would love, like, obviously, I don't think Ferrari's going to get it. I would love, I mean, realistically, probably Charles, Max, Lando, or George. With, like, Williams, dark horse, either of them. I mean, honestly, Carlos has been doing really good in qualifying. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah. But, like, I mean, Kimi did great in Miami. Maybe he does great there.
I kind of want a rookie on the podium. I don't think they're going to get past third, but I want them on that podium, and I think it's going to be Kimi if and only if Mercedes somehow fix their car.
I mean, if it's cooler in Monaco, I think they'll have less of an issue. And I mean, they are closer to the ocean, so
Yeah,
it
they're
should be
right on the
cooler.
water.
Yeah.
The race is literally
So,
on the
I mean,
water.
it'll be cooler there than it would have been in Imola anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like there to. I feel like anything. I mean, I know Monaco is like not known for a lot of changes and stuff, but like with the crashing and the aggressiveness at the beginning, I mean, I feel like we could see something unexpected, especially if someone puts in a really good lap. I mean, realistically, Oscar, Max, or Lando are probably going to win.
I think it might be George.
I want it to be George.
I think maybe George will pull through. I think
George has been pretty solid in qualifying as well.
Yeah, I think who I want to win is George. Someone I want on people who I want on podium are Alex and Kimmy, which would entirely screw up the entire podium.
I would like Charles in his home race. Man deserves it after the years of curses he had in Monaco.
But I think the home race curse is gonna pull through.
I don't believe in that.
I believe in the superstition.
It actually happens, but I don't think the superstition.
But if I'm gonna go true podium, I think it's gonna go Lando, George, Oscar.
Ooh, me likey that one. I mean, I think depends how Max does in qualifying.
Just don't think he has the right car for it.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. I just think he's a really good driver.
Oh, he's an amazing driver.
And he's great with like turns, knowing exactly when to brake. I mean, honestly, I think it's going to be a McLaren win. I think they just have the pace. I want Lando over Oscar. I think it might be Oscar. It's most likely
going to be Oscar just because of how he qualified last year.
I think you're putting too much stock into that.
You can put it into stock in every race.
Shut up.
Max has won Imola the past 6 years.
I know, but I'm just being sassy.
To
be sassy. I would like Lando to win though.
I also would like Lando to win. Because it's still a McLaren, so I don't really care.
I would like George or Charles to win, but I mean I feel like George could win. I think he has a better shot than Charles does.
I also agree.
And I do actually think George will probably get on podium this week.
I also agree. Obviously I said my podium, so
yeah, I mean
Lando, George, Oscar.
I don't feel as though I also do think I'm kind of feeling something crazy happening. I think every race people have said are going to be boring have been really entertaining. And every race I've been told is going to be really entertaining has been really boring. So you know what? Pierre Gasly P1.
I also think
Nico Hülkenberg gets his first ever win.
I feel like Monaco could be the first, because we've seen it in the past, I think Monaco can be the first teammate crash.
McLaren?
No! They're too good of drivers to be that way. I think if any of them are gonna be a teammate crash, I think it's the Ferraris.
No.
I think it's the Ferraris.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because we've seen how they've been acting with each other the past 2 races and acting with their team.
I think they get along fine.
I think they do. I think it is just the team, but I think that is going to cause some problems that could lead to a teammate crash.
Who do we think's going to crash? Let's give that prediction. Like not necessarily who's going to crash into who. Fernando
is going to DNF 100%.
I think Lawson's DNFing, and I think he's going to take down Colapinto with him.
Yuki's gonna take down someone. He
Carlos.
Always does. He always does.
He's gonna clip Carlos once again and take him out.
I'm still solid on.
I'm sticking with my Pierre Gasly prediction now. Nico Hülkenberg in 3rd and George in 2nd.
Okay, that's a podium. I'm still sticking with my Ferrari teammate crash.
I'm kidding for people just listening. I'm kidding. But also, how great would it be if I predicted this, guys? How great.
You're not gonna. I think I'm more likely.
Oh, 100%. But also, if I'm right, you owe me like $20.
I don't think I have $20.
You owe me like a penny.
Okay, I have a penny.
You have a penny on the line, guys.
I'm still solid on my Ferrari teammate crash. I think
don't-
they're gonna pull an Alpine like they did like last year.
I 100% think Lawson's crashing.
I think Fernando's. I don't think Fernando's
Lance
crashing.
Stroll.
Of course, he hasn't done anything yet.
I know, that's why he's due for it.
He's due.
The wall is calling to him.
I don't think Fernando's gonna crash, but I think his brakes are gonna catch on fire again.
And he'll just slide into the wall.
Yeah, it's just he's gonna have a moment again. And I think that's gonna be the cause of Fernando's retirement. Which is fine by me. That's on my bingo sheet.
She did make a bingo sheet.
Of Fernando retiring.
Did you have the animal thing?
Yeah,
on there?
animal on track. Pierre ran over.
Yep, I forgot to
I
mention
forgot
that to
about
you.
that one.
You got one!
I did get
Sad, yay!
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it for the last weekend and what we're expecting this weekend. Anything else you want to add, Jamie?
Nope. Just that I'm right in predictions.
Okay, when Pierre Gasly, George Russell, and Nico Hulkenberg, one of whom has never been on the podium after years in F1, are there, I'm going to laugh in everyone's face. I deserve more than a penny. I deserve, like, the lottery if I get that right. Because that's so out of
go
pocket.
get a lottery ticket
Honestly.
if it happens.
It's so out of
They're
pocket.
like $5.
So out of pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
impressive.
anyways, that is the end after our lovely
long we've
conversation.
chatted.
I don't know.
We just have fun.
we
We
have so
sit
much
down and
fun.
we go blah blah blah.
Yap, yap, yap.
Just
Okay.
fun to yap with.
Till the next one, everybody.
Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.